Ignition sequence start. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, guys? You're listening to the Realest podcast. Welcome to November 21st edition of the Monday Night Raw review. I'm Blake Carter, joined by Andrew Bass. No Kyle or Chris today. Kyle is currently working, and Chris does not have a way to watch Monday Night Raw until tomorrow. So, Andrew, would you, and another thing before we go on, it's weekly shows when it comes to, like, Monday Night Raws and stuff. It's more than likely for a little bit going to be us two because of Kyle getting his new job, and also because of the fact that Chris is not able to watch Monday Night Raws when they are live. So you're going to have to deal with us two for a little while until we get things situated. It's kind of nuts, that it's just going to be us two.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I mean, so, like, hopefully Kyle can make it for the Royal Rumble show. That'll be his 1-year anniversary of doing the podcast and everything. But what do you think of Raw tonight?
I think it was an improvement. I think it was a big step up from what we've been seeing. Definitely within storytelling and within the storylines. I thought some of the promos today were pretty on point. That whole backstage scene with Enzo Amore was just hilarious.
Yeah, to get completely destroyed by Brock Lesnar. Speaking of Brock Lesnar, I actually read an article right before Monday Night Raw, and it was stated that the two, Brock Lesnar and Bill Goldberg, are actually really good friends in real life, which is kind of crazy to think because we also had Kyle come on and say that they weren't. So, Kyle, they are, but we have that they are actually good friends, and that apparently Brock Lesnar really pushed for Goldberg to go over as he did, and that there is plans of these two wrestling again.
I just don't see the point in it at this point. Like, I see that what they're trying to build it up to be, but Goldberg's 2-0, which means that now you have to have like a 5-match series, which means that Goldberg will have to lose 3 times in order to really do anything with this feud. Or Goldberg's just going to beat him 3 times and that's it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
As we saw today, Goldberg is officially a part of the Royal Rumble, so the thing I could see happening is Lesnar coming down to the ring and interfering and causing Goldberg a chance at the title and eliminating him from the Royal Rumble.
Once again.
Yeah, and
I mean, it's not news because they did it before. That's what started the feud for WrestleMania 20. Goldberg was on fire at the Royal Rumble, and Brock Lesnar came down in the ring and eliminated Goldberg, or at least got him eliminated.
yeah. So, with that in mind, that we could be seeing Lesnar versus Goldberg again. You've given your thoughts. For me, I mean, the way this is what Brock, it's a moneymaker. It is, and Brock sees it, that this will and is a moneymaker match. And, the way I look at it is, why not?
Yeah,
It'll
why
make
not?
money, and, even though there is tons of fans that still watch wrestling, that watched everything happen with WrestleMania 20 and, knows that Goldberg is now 2-0, there's still fans out there that are just being introduced to these two, or maybe not Lesnar, but more on the lines of Goldberg. And the only thing I do not like is the fact that Goldberg said that this was his last match. This was his last hurrah, and now we're going to be seeing him again. Like, I can't stand when we get people, or like when people are like, "This is it. This is going to be my last one," and then turn around, "I'm coming back."
Yeah, it kind of makes you like it makes it so much more meaningful when you know it's their last match, and then when they start coming back, like it's their Ric Flair Never Ending tour. It's kind of like, oh, you're still around, and it's not like we're at the point where we're kind of like, oh, we're so bored of Goldberg. It's not the case. It's just, it takes away from that, glamour of, oh, it's Goldberg, he's back.
I'm still at the point now where I'm not disappointed. Well, I wouldn't say I'm not disappointed. I'm still kind of in disbelief that yesterday happened.
Yeah, I know. It was such a big shocker. It still is a big shocker. It's funny too because when I was teaching today in school, that was the number one topic, even up among people who weren't wrestling fans. People who knew that I was wrestling fans. They came up to me. Did you see Survivor Series last night?
What is up with
I
you?
always do it. I
Look,
wanted to be
I want to
SummerSlam.
find out
Yeah.
right now. What is up with you and Survivor Series and SummerSlam being mixed up?
I don't know. I always do it. I don't know. I guess I like SummerSlam better. I want it to be summer.
I'm actually like dressed up warm now, and I went outside today, and my sister's like, "What do you have on?" Because
Dude, you're in freaking Texas, man.
I
It's like
live.
freezing here in Jersey.
No, see, well, I was in Oregon for like 3 months, so like cold here is kind of like, oh, this feels nice. So it's actually like cold, and I have like these like leggings, not like chick leggings, but leggings that keep you warm. I have them under, like I have shorts on because it's not that cold, so I put them on because it was chilly. This would make me sound like a complete homo. I'm not gonna lie, and nothing against homophobe, but screw it. Um, the point of the story is my sister straight up says, "Why do you have leggings on?" And I was like, "No." So
Okay.
yeah, great story.
Great story.
I mean, Goldberg. But back to the topic, I still can't get over the fact that the match lasted 1 minute and 26 seconds.
Yeah, if it was anybody but Brock Lesnar, you could have said, okay, maybe. But for Brock Lesnar to go out there and get his ass beat in 1 minute and 20 seconds, yeah, there's maybe that, like you said, that one person who was drunk off their ass and said, you know what, Goldberg is going to pin Brock Lesnar in less than a minute.
Yeah, I actually watched another review because I wanted to hear their reaction to it. And this particular person takes calls, and he had a guy that was actually at the event call in, and he
Hmm.
said that it was exciting, but at the same time there was people that were like, "Are you serious? WWE's just getting money from us at this point."
Right. Well, I'm glad you actually mentioned that because I've been reading posts online. It was just like you said yesterday. Your big concern was finding out is it the fact that Goldberg was hurt? Is that the reason why they decided to make that squash match? And that all of a sudden, posts are coming up that he was injured. There's other posts that they're just planning to bring him back and they're just trying to milk money out of him. But the other post that I'm seeing a lot around there, the third common post, is that people are just disappointed with how the match went. You
Um,
know, people are just disappointed with how the match went. It was the main event and it ended in less than a minute. It was like, all right, cool, Goldberg won, but like, really, yeah, like you said, they're just at this point they're just trying to get the money out of you, and some fans were just completely disappointed, like the real wrestling fans that have been there forever and understand like the importance of like putting on a show and giving the money's worth for the fans. Where Team Raw versus SmackDown, the match that went on before it was a clinic and would have been perfect for ending a show. So it's like it's questionable why they made the card and made the match the way it is.
now let me ask you this then: with you go to shows, and unfortunately you haven't been able to get to pay-per-views and stuff, but when it comes to when you buy a ticket, you usually get good seats, right?
Hmm.
Now let's say you spend close up to let's say between $300 to $700 for a ringside seat, and that's your main event. How do you personally react to that?
Honestly, if that is my main event, it would honestly depend on how the show went. To be completely honest, like if if all the other matches were like solid, I wouldn't bitch about it as much as I probably should, because I wasn't disappointed with the way the match went. I thought that was pretty cool. But like the wrestling fan, a part of me was like, really? That was just a minute and 26 seconds. I mean, this is supposed to be. I don't know. It's kind of like we look back and I'll say it again because apparently I can't stop saying it. But SummerSlam, you know, with Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton, it was like I was looking up to Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton, and Randy Orton being one of my favorite wrestlers. I was like, this match is gonna be good. We haven't seen this match before, and it pretty much ended up being Brock Lesnar just pounding on Orton for like 10, 15 minutes, and then ending the match. And for me as a fan, if I were there, that's a big letdown. And after I saw that match, I honestly lost faith in Brock Lesnar in terms of main event power. I really think that Brock Lesnar shouldn't be in the main event, and it's just because of the way that he's prescribed as a character. Like to have those squash matches, I don't think a squash match should be a part of your main event. I mean, if you're gonna have a character as dominant as Brock Lesnar, have him somewhere in the middle of the card to kind of balance it out. For me, it's like I said, I saw Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar, and it really ruined it for me. And looking up to Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, I really had no high expectations. So, as a fan, it's no surprise why I'm not really as bothered by it because I lowered my expectations for the match.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been to two pay-per-views, and one being WrestleMania and one being Night of Champions. With WrestleMania's main event and it being Reigns versus Triple H, and everyone, I mean, anyone in their right mind knew who was going to win that match. I mean, that is one thing I dislike about WrestleMania is the fact that that was our main event. Obviously, it's WrestleMania, so it kind of overlaps. Like, oh, well, I went to WrestleMania, so awesome. But if I was to pay to $1,000 for a ringside seat,
Which you really do for like WrestleMania. I mean, prices really jack up when it comes to pay-per-view purchases.
Yeah, there was some there like right on the ringside was $3,000.
Which is absolute crazy.
Yeah, and there's
You
people
know?
that's gonna buy them.
And I mean, look at what happened with you in your situation. You didn't even get to see the whole darn show. So
Yeah.
imagine if you spent $3,000 and you've only got to see two matches. You know?
Well, I mean, I got to see more than two matches, but
Well, I'm just saying, like, God forbid, something happens and you miss, a good majority of the show. I mean, then you just waste $3,000 just to be there for two matches.
yeah. But I mean, when it comes to last night, I don't know. I could see why a lot of people were unhappy, but well, one guy hit the nail on the coffin on you can't judge those shows because you're there. And when you're there, they're super entertaining. It's a lot
Of
different
course.
from being at home and watching. Like I can tell you right now, if we were to go back right now, Night of Champions last year was to happen, I'd probably tell you it was 4 or 5. That it wasn't that great of a pay-per-view.
Mm.
But being there, I got to see Sting wrestle his his last match, which wasn't planned, but it's still, I got to see Sting. I saw Seth Rollins, Cena, which at this point, I've seen Cena so many times, it's unreal. I got to see Kevin Owens, I got to see Charlotte, I got to see Nikki Bella. I mean, it was a good show being there.
I mean, see, that's the thing, though. Like, and especially for the viewers out there who haven't seen a live show, you should definitely go. I mean, it's a completely different world. For those of you who aren't exactly into the announcers, you don't hear the announcers at all when you're at a live show. So, I mean, it's a completely different experience. And, for that, it's just, it's something you have to experience at least once. And, I mean, it's just a whole completely different environment. You really get into it when you're there.
if you're interested in going to wrestling events and you're like wanting to fiddle around with wrestling, I think, especially if you're wanting to go to live events, I think the best thing for you to go to is 100% go to a live event. Don't go to a TV taping. Don't go to a pay-per-view. The reason I say don't go to a pay-per-view because pay-per-views are amazing. You don't want to go to a pay-per-view and then you end up not liking wrestling and not liking it and having to spend that extra money. Live events are a lot cheaper, so just go to a live event. And if an NXT live event hits you, then definitely go to that.
Oh
But
yeah.
the main purpose of this is if you're fiddle farting around with wrestling and you're thinking that you're going to be wanting to get into it, go to a live event. I mean, you can go to a TV taping if it's there, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown.
I mean,
But
they're not bad, but I
no,
mean,
but I'm
it's
just
definitely a
saving
different
money.
night or
That's
day
why that's what I'm looking
experience.
at is you save
Yeah.
money.
Like I mean, I did it. My first WWE live show that I went to was a TV taping in Wildwood, New Jersey, and it was okay. It was interesting. The main event was Alberto Del Rio versus Dolph Ziggler for the World Heavyweight Championship. That's how long ago that was. But it was a great match. I loved the show. It wasn't as long as I wanted it to be, but nothing really mattered in that match because it wasn't on live TV or like recorded TV at the time. And I went to SmackDown, I went to Raw, and it's a complete night and day experience from one of those offshoot um, dark shows.
Man, for my first event, it was a live event, so it was a house show. This is how long ago this was. I think it was either 2002 or 2003. Kane had his mask still. He had half the mask where his face was showing, kind of what the mask is now, but he was still considered Kane with a burnt face, like nobody knew what he looked like. Um, Kane and Hurricane teamed against the Un-Americans, and this is where you're gonna be like, what? Guess what the main event was? Triple H is your world champion, so guess who he's wrestling?
Shelton Benjamin. No.
No, no, you're about to be blown away. Bubba Ray Dudley.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
No.
I'm
Shut
I'm
up.
being dead serious. Bubba Ray Dudley.
What?
Yeah.
That was back when he had his singles career, his singles run.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
know. I just remember like not really knowing Bubba Ray Dudley, but like seeing Kane, I was like, ah. But
oh
my
man.
first ever TV taping was a Monday Night Raw. Jonathan Coachman was an announcer.
Oh my
This
God,
was when
Jonathan
if I'm
Coachman.
not, I don't know, I think Jr. was going through that cancer or whatever. I think that's what he was going through at the time, or
Uh huh.
he wasn't there, and it was the road to WrestleMania 23, and Cena and Triple H had their contract signing.
Yeah. I mean, like anything with Cena and Triple H in it together is just a gold mine.
So, like Big Show and Kane were a tag team at that time.
I forgot about that, to be completely honest. Of all the tag teams Kane's been a part of, I completely forgot about that.
There's actually a dark match that night. After TV got off, Edge came out with the Money in the Bank contract and said, "I'm gonna cash it in" or something like that, and he started whipping Cena's ass, but it didn't happen.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was actually really cool because I remember like, oh no,
Well, it's funny, too, because,
no.
he would end up cashing in on him eventually anyway.
Yeah, it is, but um, Rich Swann is now the number one
Yeah, yeah.
contender
You
for.
know what?
Yeah, we've gotten off. I mean, I can do this all day of just talking wrestling. If we're wanting to keep going on that, I've been to the next event I went to was a live event. I think after that I went to two live events. I did. I went to a live event and DX was going against Rated RKO.
Yes.
Randy Orton actually had his britches pulled down. This is while Cena was hurt. So Cena was
They
hurt at
seen
the
all
time.
the girls were happy, man.
Um, and then the next live event I went to, I actually got like offered by a friend. I'm in high school at this point, and it was Road to WrestleMania, and I got ringside seats. And where we were, my buddy talks shit to everyone. So the main event was John Cena, CM Punk, when CM Punk was a part of Nexus. and
Okay, yeah.
The Miz, who's the WWE Championship for the WWE Championship. CM Punk walks out. My buddy has a sign directed at CM Punk, and CM Punk stood there for 5 minutes, and my buddy and him were talking shit back and forth the entire time.
Well, see, that was the thing that everybody loved about CM Punk, though. Like, he just didn't give a damn about anything. Like, he would literally, like, he would spend the time to, like, argue with a fan just because he could. You know?
Yeah, I that's one of the craziest things. Then after that, my next experience was Night of Champions, and then after that, WrestleMania. But from what I was told, this is some behind the scenes stuff. Um, Cindy knows a person might know someone, and I can't like really get into details, but she can get tickets. And rumor has it she's trying there that she might be trying to get Mania or Royal Rumble tickets. And I text Chris today. I said you got to tell because I didn't spoil anything. I said after what we just saw, or this is at the beginning when Goldberg announced that he was going to be a part of the Royal Rumble. I said you have to get her to get tickets.
Mm,
Do what she needs to do. Get tickets. We have to go.
that's crazy. Yeah, I've never been to Royal Rumble, so, you know, that's got to be a hell of a show to go to.
Well, the Rumble, to be completely honest with you, is one of the pay-per-views. It's probably one of my favorite pay-per-views ever.
Well,
And
just anything can happen at the Royal Rumble. That's what makes it so, you know, lovable.
but yeah, let's get back on topic. I mean, we got the women's championship will be on the line next week. So will the tag team championship. We saw Cesaro
Yeah.
and Sheamus lose, but basically gonna win. Kofi Kingston tapped out, but Xavier
Yeah,
Woods helped.
yeah. I mean, like a lot of things happening. Like you kind of touch base on like the whole Rich Swann victory, and now he's going to challenge for the cruiserweight title on the premiere of 205. And you know that match in itself was amazing, simply amazing. And you know what? I texted you earlier today, and I was just, you know what? You know, I don't care who wins this match. You know, out of the three people, I love T.J. Perkins. Like he's slowly become one of my new favorite wrestlers, and Noam Dar is surprisingly becoming a favorite of mine as well. So it's kind of like, all right, I like Rich Swann too. I mean, any of these people would make an entertainment match with Brian Kendrick. So I was kind of rooting, you know, for everyone in that match, and you know, just to see that, you know, Rich Swann came away with the victory was kind of not surprising, but I guess relieving to kind of see T.J. Perkins just out of the picture for a little bit.
Here's my thing. Like that crowd would have erupted if there was a title change today, and I'm talking with the tag team championships because they were there for 3 days in
Yeah,
Toronto, and there was one title switch the entire weekend. This is including NXT. The
yeah.
only title switch was the NXT tag team championships.
Well, and the NXT title as well. So the only titles that
Yeah,
changed
too.
hands was NXT.
And
So
that's bizarre. And they're gonna have that happen. At this point, they're gonna be breaking the record, which, I
well,
mean,
yeah, that's what I told you. I said, you know, um, I thought they were gonna lose the titles tonight, and then they brought up the whole record and how they're only a month away from getting it, and you know they beat Sheamus and Cesaro by, you know, dirty tactics again. Surprise, surprise. And, you know, now, of course, um, they turn around and say, okay, well, we're going to put the club versus the Golden Truth, which you know is going to be a squash match. And now we're going to get Gallows and Anderson versus the New Day for like the 14th time. And, you know, they're going to go up against the New Day and lose again. And I don't even want anything to do with that tag team match. I'll be completely honest. Next week, I ain't going to watch it. I'm not. I'm so sick and tired of it. I think that was the one mistake they did tonight. If I can go back and say that they made a mistake that could have ruined the night for me, it would have been that.
yeah. I I don't want them to beat that record. To be completely honest with you, I don't. I don't think with, in all honesty, they're losing support and they're starting to turn heelish
Yeah.
because I mean people are just tired of the New Day. I mean, I'm like, what keeps someone strong is when they lose a title, gain it, have it for a while, but lose it. I mean, you got to keep it interesting, and at this point, it's just like no one is interested anymore. I mean, I know
Well,
I'm not.
I think that the reason for them falling out of interest so quickly with the New Day is because they win the same way each time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I can't tell. I don't think if you count up all of the victories that the New Day has had in pay-per-views, you could probably only count on one finger, or not one finger, one hand. You know how many times they've actually won clean. And it's like, okay, well, for most of their title run, they were heel, but then they turned face, which was what kind of prolonged their championship reign in terms of keeping them fresh and keeping them interesting. But now it's kind of like they ran out of ideas with them being face, and it's like, okay, well, why don't we do this? You guys are face, and we need you guys to make money. So what we're gonna do is during title matches, we're gonna have you go heel for like 1 second, and then after that, you guys are face again,
Yeah.
and it's every fucking time.
Yeah, and now we're
And
gonna get next week. We get the Gallows and Anderson versus the New Day, and part of me really wants to say that they might throw a curveball here.
they might, but how many times have we said that? Let's be real. I mean, this is the realest podcast after all, right? So, like, let's be real. How many times have we said that Gallows and Anderson deserve those titles and that they, are going to beat the New Day?
We've said it a lot, but if you were to ask me what I would predict right now, if
Every
we were to
darn
predict,
time.
if we were to have a prediction, I would totally go with the New Day winning. Like, yeah, safe bet always.
Yeah. I mean, it's come to the point where you have to.
I can guarantee you that next week Sasha Banks will lose.
Well,
It
I feel like that's a given.
how it would not be smart to have Sasha win unless Sasha wins at the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
But even if
but
that
I
happens,
feel like
hang on,
Bailey is going to be at the pay-per-view.
hang on. If Sasha loses or beats her, everyone's gonna rip WWE a new asshole, including me, because this will be the what? God, when did the brand split happen? In July? Yeah, in July.
Yeah. And they've
So
just been
we
playing
had
musical
one in
titles.
July. We had that happen, and then SummerSlam, then a Monday Night Raw again. Then what was it? Hell in a Cell?
Yeah, Hell in a Cell, she dropped the title again.
We've had it 4 or 5 times happen.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could say the same thing about the Intercontinental title at this point.
You're
That they're
right,
dropping that title
but the
to the same
IC
people.
title is still fresh. This is kind of old now.
Yeah. But, it's just... I see Sasha not losing clean. I want to say something's going to happen. I want to say Nia Jax is going to get involved next week
If Sasha wins,
and starts the feuds with Sasha.
she has to win at the pay-per-view and then start her feud with Bailey. Has to happen. No if and buts about it. It has to happen.
Well, that's what we say because we know it's a good idea. It's a smart idea. And I think Charlotte needs to be out of that title picture. And we've been saying that for months now, that she needs to be out of this title picture. But, we can't really go forward without remembering what, at least what I read about, what Vince has been saying about Sasha and about how he wants her out of the title picture. Now, I don't know how true this is, but, from what I've been reading in multiple sources, he really does not like Sasha Banks. He's done with Sasha Banks. He wants her out of the picture. He doesn't want her involved in a title picture because she's injury prone, because he doesn't like her gimmick. It's just like, if it's Vince McMahon who's really pulling the strings, I don't see Sasha versus Bailey anytime soon. because Vince McMahon is not ready to pull the trigger on that where Triple H would be.
If you want my opinion, I think Charlotte has held that division on her back long enough, and it's time for
Yeah,
someone else to do it. And
but it's not Charlotte's fault. Let's go on the record and say it's not Charlotte's fault. Charlotte's the one who's actually kind of taking the slack for this. But like, oh, we're so sick of Charlotte. It's really when you boil down to it, Vince McMahon and WWE Creative.
now
That's really shoving her down our throats.
let's talk about the main event, being the Universal Title No Disqualification match. Roman Reigns and Chris Jericho are banned from
Before
ringside.
you get into this, and my sister will attest to this. We're both watching this when Mick Foley makes the announcement that it's going to be a notice. Or no, when he said it's going to be Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. Chris Jericho and Roman Reigns are both banned from ringside. And then as soon as he said it's a no disqualification match, mark my words, and my sister can tell you, my head just cocks over very arrogantly, and I rolled my eyes at her. And she starts laughing. And she goes, well, why'd you do that? And I said, Chris Jericho is going to get involved in this match one way or another. I guarantee you he will get involved in this match.
Oh, I knew it as
But
soon as he said it.
he's banned from ringside. I said, yeah, but Mick Foley made it no disqualification, so he's going to get involved anyway.
I said the exact same. Like, well, I didn't say it to anyone, but in my head, I thought, yeah, he's gonna get involved
it's old.
somehow. It is old.
It's getting
but
old
that's-
at this point.
But
I mean, I love Jericho and I love Kevin Owens. I don't want it to end. I mean, I'll be completely honest, but like it's getting to the point where it's getting predictable. Like, don't have him involved in at least one match. I mean, try to shake it up.
You're right, but how many champions have we said? It's old, but that's what makes that champion so good.
Well, you can say the thing about Maurice too.
Charlotte with Ric Flair, The Miz with Maurice, and now we get that and
Well,
now
everybody's
we-
waiting for them to break up, that big little falling out, and they kind of played off of it tonight. But it wasn't going to happen in Canada. Come on, you know.
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't, but well, I mean, the match was great. I thought it was great, but the interference kind of like threw it, and it was just like, oh well, that's it,
Yeah. And you see the guy in there wearing a Shinsuke Nakamura hoodie and the Kalisto mask or the Sin Cara mask, and it's like, I looked over for a second. I'm like, Triple H. Oh no! Then I looked at it closely, and I was like, wait a minute, he's skinny. That's Jericho. I was right. And he gets the mask ripped off. It's Jericho. I'm like, come on, WWE.
Now
Where's Triple H? Where's Triple H?
I'll say this, Chris. I know you're gonna be listening later, but I have something I need to tell you. You're posting on the page on how Shinsuke is getting called up. He's not getting called up for the 100th time. He's going to stay at NXT. They don't have any top faces at all. They have
Right.
nothing there. They have to keep this going, and that's what they're going to do, is keep the feud going between him and Joe.
Well, see, and that's funny too, because Chris is saying it, my dad is saying it, that it's time we bring him up. I'm like, he just got there, and
That's not even
it's
my
not only
issue.
that, but he's the only face on the company right now.
It
Really?
it would be different if they had other like faces there to do it. It would be totally
I mean, the
different.
only other person that they could throw in that title picture who's a face, and you're gonna say no right off the bat, but like this is me being facetious here, is Ty Dillinger. He's the only other face in the company right now.
You're right, and I would totally say that's okay if he beats Bobby Roode, but Bobby Roode's up next, 100%. When Joe loses twice, that's who's coming up next.
Yeah, I mean that feud's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no face at all. It'd have been
So
diff-
why bring up Shinsuke?
Exactly, why? Because you're gonna have to turn someone face, and you can't throw Dillinger up in the mix because Dillinger hasn't won a takeover in a while.
But that's on Triple H, in my opinion. I think that he, I can't even say that because nobody expected Bobby Roode to lose to Ty Dillinger, and like I wanted to throw the curveball and say that he would, but like you had to expect that Bobby Roode was the strong favorite heading into that match. But I don't think Ty Dillinger should have lost some of the matches that he did leading up to Bobby Roode.
And I just want to say that I am sorry if you hear anything in the background. I do have family over, and they are having a great time by my door.
See, you even have to stop them. That's how crazy the party is, and you're just gonna keep it rolling.
They knocked on my door. It's like, hey, and I'm doing a show. Okay, sorry. But yeah, there's no reason. I think if anything, Joe deserves to be called up because I think he's the best heel in the company. But obviously, we won't be seeing that. But let's let's get this over with. We've talked about everything. I think it's time to sign off here. But before we do go, I'm going to say this: we will not be doing any shows at all this week. I'm going to my uncle's this week, and I'm not going to bring my entire all my equipment for it. Now, if Andrew and Kyle are able to do it and they are able to produce, which they can do it, I'll talk to them about it if they want to. Same with Chris; they can produce it and they can do it. But I will not be here to do the show because of Thanksgiving. Gonna go spend Thanksgiving with family, so we will be back either Saturday or Sunday. We're keeping it real because as of right now, I'm being told that we're gonna come home Friday or Saturday. So depending on when I come home, we're gonna be doing keeping it real Saturday or Sunday, and we will be live again for Monday and Tuesday. So, Andrew, anything you want to say before we leave?
No, just thanks for watching, and hopefully you guys have a excellent Thanksgiving, and we'll pick back up, next time.
Absolutely, and before I do go, I hope everyone has a great and safe Thanksgiving holiday. If you are going to be out drinking, be sure to be responsible. Do not drive. Give your keys up to whoever is there, or have a designated driver, or just go in an Uber. Be smart about it, and let's not have any chaos. Let's just have some fun and spend time with family. And for me, watch some football. But until next time, for Andrew Best, I'm Blake Carter. Peace out.